Good evening and welcome to the evening news. I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbola. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has approved the appointment of principal officers for the University of Ilesha. Governor Adeleke, who spoke through the secretary to the state government, Honorable Teslim Igbalayi, charged them to uphold virtues of professionalism and integrity, which endeared them to the state governor, who count them worthy for the appointment. A release signed by the spokesperson to the governor, Malam Olawale Rashid, gave the names of the principal officers as Professor Taiwo Ashaolu, Vice Chancellor, Mr. Funsho Ojo as Registrar, Dr. Mukaila Oyekomi Bosa, and Mr. Dewale Ogoshipa as Librarian. Ashaolu is a Nigerian professor of accounting and finance and former dean, Faculty of Administration of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State. Professor Ashaolu was the chairman of the University of Ilesha Review Committee set up by Governor Adeleke to address all outstanding issues for the eventual takeoff of the university. Meanwhile, the National Universities Commission has taken steps in the efforts at proffering energy solutions to Nigerian universities. The Executive Secretary of the NUC, Professor Abubakar Rashid, said the gas-powered energy system is an important missing link in the nation's university system. Professor Rashid noted this during a meeting with the management of Midstream and Downstream Infrastructure Fund on how to ensure alternative energy supplies following the epileptic power supply in most parts of the country. He further said that the role of NUC is to mediate and ensure smooth and speedy takeoff of the project, explaining that the pilot scheme would comprise the first 6 and the other 7 generation universities, along with some selected universities. Professor Rashid added that the gas reserve in Nigeria is enough to cater for the energy needs of the country and Africa at large, saying the investment universities would be able to generate reliable electricity. Minister of Information and Culture Alhaji Lai Mohammed said some international media organizations and think tanks have admitted that they were misinformed on the chances of the Labour Party candidate Peter Obi in winning the 2023 presidential polls. Alhaji Lai Mohammed disclosed this in London when he concluded his engagements and meetings with the media houses and policy institutes to defend the legitimacy of the just concluded general elections and correct the imbalance in the reports which had pervaded the air on the polls. The minister said many were not aware of the requirement to win the presidential election in Nigeria. He added that the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, walked his talk on the promise to conduct free and credible elections. Meanwhile, civil society groups under the aegis of Citizen Development and Education and Center for Peace and Environmental Justice have expressed worry over the continuous promotion of incitement and uncomplimentary statements from aggrieved politicians who lost in the 2023 general elections. Speaking on behalf of the groups at a briefing in Abuja, the convener and executive director of CDE, Ibrahim Waya, therefore condemned all unguarded statements promoted directly or through proxy by any politician and religious leader along ethnic, regional, or religious sentiments capable of inciting violence in Nigeria. The groups urged all aggrieved politicians to stick to the legal process for redress as provided by the legal system and should desist from threatening, intimidating, or discrediting the same system they are seeking to serve. The Federal Executive Council has approved about 495 million naira for the procurement and installation of luggage scanners at railway stations located in Abuja, Kaduna, and Kano States. The Minister of State for Transportation, Ademola Adegoroye, who made the declaration after the Federal Executive Council meeting, explained that the approval of the said amount of money is meant to enhance security of lives and property at the railway facilities. According to him, the devices to be deployed at railway stations in Udu, Rigasa, Kubwa, Jere, Kano, and Kaduna include color image imaging x-rays, body scanners, walk-through metal detectors, and handheld scanners for an effective security network. He added that the federal government enjoined the citizens to handle all the devices and other property with care to improve the security of lives and property. Osun State Broadcasting Corporation will key into the opportunity offered by the broadband fiber optic, which the state government under Governor Ademola Adeleke brought into the state. The Director General, Osbc, Mr. Rashid Folaromi, who stated this while receiving the management of the State Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology, represented by the Director, Corporate Affairs, Osbc, Mr. Olushola Bolaji. Mr. Folaromi gave kudos to the state government for initiating such innovation, adding that the people of the state, especially the Osbc, has a lot to gain from the broadband fiber optic, which is already in the state. Speaking earlier, the coordinating director of the ministry, Mr. Jimo Adekileku, went down the memory lane that the state has an ICT policy since 2013, but was marred by some hitches. Mr. Adekileku added that on assumption of office, Governor Ademola Adeleke has removed all impediments of ICT policy implementation in the state in line with the digital economy policy of the federal government for the use of the state government, corporate bodies, and individuals throughout the state. The Secretary to Osun State Government, Teslim Igbalaye, will on Friday evening lead an array of dignitaries to the NUJ Osun Council Annual Ramadan Lecture as the special guest of honor. Are released by the Chairman Planning Committee, Moshood Sulaiman, indicates that the Ramadan Lecture will hold at the NUJ Secretariat beside Technical College, Oshogbo. It notes that Ustaz Jabir Muhammadu Shitu Abbas from Al-Kema University, Ilorin, will deliver a lecture titled Journalism, Islam and Saying the Truth with pharmacist Lason Sumano, talking on stress, its causes and effects on people. It adds that the Olororuwo of Ororuwo Oba Kamarudin Adeyemi Alawode IV and the Alawo of Awo Oba Taiwo Adegboye are the royal fathers at the program and will be co-chaired by Al-Haji Ridwan Hussein Yasalam and Dr. Musbaudin Adetoyeche, while Al-Hajja Folake Adebayo will be the chairperson. Other dignitaries expected are former Permanent Secretary Osun Subeb Alhaji Fatai Kolawole and Justice Jide Falola of the State High Court. The statement, which reveals that the chairman, NUJ Council, Comrade Wasiu Ajadoshu, is the chief host, enjoined members to be punctual at the program. And moving on to sports, the Ministry of Sport and Youth Development says the ministry neither request nor received 21 billion naira for the rehabilitation of the National Stadium in Surulere, Lagos. The Federal Ministry of Sport and Youth Development debunked the reports in some section of the media that it requested for the sum of 21 billion naira to rehabilitate the stadium. The Director of Press and Public Relations, Mr. Mohammed Manga, in a statement made available to the media, said the minister, Mr. Sunday Dari, only mentioned the figure as one of the estimated amounts from the proposal received to indicate that it would be needed for the complete rehabilitation and upgrade of the national edifice based on submissions made by different companies and contractors. While on the foreign scene, Southeast Asian nations have strongly condemned the Myanmar military's bombing of a village in the central Sagaing region that killed dozens of people, including children. The statement from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations came after the Myanmar military confirmed the air attack on a ceremony held by the National Unity Government. The United Nations, the United States, and others have already condemned the attack by the generals who seized power from the elected government in a coup in February 2021. The regional bloc said all forms of violence must end immediately, particularly the use of force against civilians, as the only way to create a conducive environment for an inclusive national dialogue to find a sustainable, peaceful solution in Myanmar. The toll would make the attack the deadliest since the military under Senior General Min Aung Hlaing removed the government of Aung San Suu QUI, and our National League for Democracy Party. And that ends the evening news on OSBC TV. Join us at 7 for the major reports. Thank you for watching.